Hi.
So, Sarah, starting with you, your character has some powers to speak of, some telekinesis. Knowing that your character has this kind of strange relationship with her powers, how did you go about playing that, especially in this world where folks just kind of seem to accept that she has powers, that ghosts exist, that all of this is kind of real?
Yes, this was tricky because she's, very pragmatic person and very much a realist and doesn't seem to believe in any of the kind of ghosts or hauntings that Luke and his team are presenting, and yet she has this power. So I kind of just had to, shove it down all the way down to that it's not even a thought in her mind. Because obviously it's something that she's been dealing with and hasn't been, very honest with herself about. So it was all about kind of, putting a lid on it until this episodes and the season progress and she learns to kind of accept it and is able to play around with it a little more.
Yeah, kind of shove it down until
Gotta
it's
shove it
needed.
down. Yeah. Good
And then,
thing, right? Shoving things
why not?
down.
That's
Yeah.
healthy.
Yes.
Um, so Tim, you have your character Luke has some parental issues, to speak of, to put it mildly. How does Luke's family history affect his work and his chosen career?
Hmm. I mean, officially, I believe I'm supposed to say no comment here, so I'm not sure how to proceed with your question. Tread lightly. Um, Things are definitely complicated uh, in in Luke's life. I'll say that.
Okay,
Mhm.
very good. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Thanks.
James, you're up.
All righty. How's everybody doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you.
Good.
Tim, for you, I think that Luke Roman's right up there with one of my favorite characters that you've ever played. I mean, he's likable, but he's a complex dude. What's your favorite thing about him?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that. He's not who I think everybody's going to think he is for the first couple of episodes. I think the layers will start to come off and there'll be a sensitivity to him. Maybe, to be honest, a vulnerability to him that I really like, that you don't see at all. I think with a lot of it is hidden by his bravado, which he uses to be a real estate agent. I think he's honed that talent and skill over the years. But I think when we start to see the real Luke, there's a vulnerability to him that I like a lot. Um, yeah.
And Sarah, for you, one of my favorite things about this show is the dynamic between Susan and Luke. I really love the chemistry between you and Tim on the show. So, how describe that dynamic for us a little bit? What is something that really draws you to that?
I think just the fact that they're in it for the kind of greater good of the company, which is to sell houses, and we both know where our skills lie, and the fact that we kind of put, our heads together and our skills together to be as professional as possible in getting the job done and selling these houses. And I kind of liked that we both went in this very like wonderfully platonic friendship, true friendship, where we both very much respect each other, and that made it really, easy and fun to play. Also, Tim is wonderful and lovely, and the fact that we have had a relationship outside, a platonic relationship outside of this show. I'll clarify that. We've known each other for so long, so it was really nice to be able to bring that element into it as well.
And you're both hilarious, so thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. Sophia, you're up.
Sarah, what a pleasure to speak with you both. I'm Sophia Soto with the Nerds of Color. Love both of your work. First thing I want to ask you is obviously you work together on Schitt's Creek, and this is a very different show. So, what was it like to get to work together again, but also bring these new characters to life?
I mean, I think it's always fun bringing new characters to life, and then to be able to do it with somebody that you know and trust who's also bringing a new character to life. You can kind of create the characters together because they feed off of each other so much, and there's so much kind of play with that. So it was a really fun transition to go from the characters we played in Schitt's Creek, very, very, very different for both of us, to this, and have the luxury to have, you know, a comfortable space to explore that.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
And so my other question is a little fun one for both of you to work on together. If you could create a tagline or phrase to describe the series, what would you pick?
I'm the worst. I'm the absolute worst at creating taglines for anything. So
Well, I read something really good the other day, something about we closed the deal, so you find closure or something like that.
ooh, see, this is the stuff that I need writers for. That's nice. We close the deal so you find closure. Let's go with that.
Love it. Write it on all the posters.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Dana, you're up.
Crumby from the Koalition. So I was wondering, how would you describe your character's best and worst qualities? And how do those, would you say, the worst qualities kind of impact your relationship with each other on the show?
You want to go for this one?
Oh, Dana came out firing.
Came out hard.
Yeah, I think that's difficult.
I know.
I feel like his best and worst qualities are so connected, and they kind of make him a good real estate agent. You know, it's kind of, I guess, I'll go back to this bravado thing. I think he needs to act a certain way when he's selling houses or when he's in full on sales pitch mode. And I think that's his worst quality to me. But also it's one of his strongest traits, because he needs that to be successful. But I think the cool thing is we start to peel that stuff away and see the cool stuff. And then we see that within the dynamic between Susan and Luke. And I think it's within the comfort he feels with someone he respects as much for selling houses, in that sense, that he can also be his realist Luke. I don't think the other people at the agency really see a version of Luke that Susan does. And I think that's because of the comfort he feels in the mutual respect they have for one another.
Yeah, I completely agree in that, you know, some of Susan's best qualities are her worst qualities, depending on, you know, the environment and the situation that she's in. But I mean, I think that, you know, she's her professionalism, she's a people person, a workaholic, and though that works really, really well professionally, it doesn't necessarily work really well personally. So it's been finding that balance and allowing herself to be vulnerable and letting people in on kind of the secrets that she keeps and why she, you know, puts her nose to the ground and just wants to you know, close the deal and make that money. So it's interesting that, you know, just like Tim said, he hit the nail on the head in that, like, the best qualities are so closely tied to the worst qualities. It just kind of depends on the situation.
Thank you, Dana. All right, everyone, press, thank you so much. You guys can leave the room.
That's a good question.
That was a great question. Ooh, it's questions like that